Welcome to Conversations with Jen and Mel. This show is about real life with real people, having real conversations, from better health to mental health and more. Let's check out the conversation right now with your host, Jen and Mel.
Hello. So on today's topic of Conversations with Jen and Mel, we are talking about he cheated. Now what? So I'm going to talk to you like you're my friend, and Mel probably will come with the spiritual part later. So if you're my friend and you say to me, he cheated, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? I'm going to ask you, as your friend, I may say, I have the shovel where you want to bury the body. But I also may ask you, what do you want to do? Because in my opinion, you have a choice to make. You can stay, or you can pack your stuff up and leave. So what do you want to do? Because whatever you want to do, whatever decision you make, I'm going to support you as your friend. And what you want to do could change over time. Because when you first find out, you probably want to leave, or you want him to leave, whatever. But after a little space has gotten there, you may reconsider. So I got your back, whatever you decide to do. But my answer is going to be different based on what you want to do. So if you want to leave, get your grip, ride out. You'll be okay. You're fine. I think it gets more complicated, though, if you want to stay.
So I remember recently someone that I knew requested, someone had requested a session with them. And the person was asking about some counseling because of some infidelity. Mm-hmm. And the person that was doing the counseling, they came to me first and asked me to address it. I say, first of all, like she said, you need to know why they're asking for you. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's not coming to counseling to say, okay, help me to get out of this. It doesn't matter how hard the relationship appears to be to you. It doesn't matter what you see. It doesn't matter how dysfunctional it may be. Sometimes people are coming to counseling because they're asking you, help me to survive this. Mm-hmm. They're not asking you, they're not motivated to do anything different. They were like, but I need a lifeline while I'm in it.
Yes.
And so what she said was important, and it's true. How many times do you have a friend and you know, okay, wait a minute. They told me that Pookie was cheating, but meanwhile, they keep going back home to Pookie every night.
I was going to say, before we even get to the cheating part, a lot of times your friends be done told you not to get with that person in the first place. Mm-hmm. But you wanted to do it anyway.
Really?
So now here we are.
You see her just throw that in our face like
I'm just saying.
She threw it in our face.
That's the truth.
And I already warned us, like you done seen every sign, every red flag, and you still gonna get with Pookie.
But you was in love. So here we are.
But Pookie was cute.
We're here.
He was cute. He was cute.
Uh-huh. Okay. So now you want to know how to survive the relationship? Mm-hmm. Okay. Then that means you got to put your big girl pants on, because it's not easy.
So it's interesting how we buy into the story as women that a piece of man better than no man at all. And so, wait a minute. So when after a while you hear rumors about somebody cheating and they cheated so much, I'm like, that's not your man, that's community man. He solely belongs to no one.
I am not going down this rabbit hole with her today.
It's a joint venture.
There comes you asking how to survive, not for you to laugh in their face, Melanie. Goodness.
I would only do that to my friends. I wouldn't do that to a client.
Okay. You gonna laugh in your friend's face?
After they done found out that he done cheated with Pookie, with Ray Ray, and all that.
So I tried not to say I told you so, because as your friend,
So now what's the difference?
I done told you.
What's the difference? Now, I laughed and she said, I told you so. It's all the same. It's all the same.
But no, I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help patch you back up.
And so he cheated. Now what? So now we're just really talking about dating. But what happens when this is not dating anymore? Like, okay, well, this is not dating, or it's dating, and now we've got a long-term relationship, and I recognize that he's cheating. We've established some things together. We have a family together. We have children together. And so now this goes beyond something surface. So now we were just talking, casually about the dating part of it. Like, okay, I chose the wrong date. I chose to waste my little time with the wrong guy, and I got this early.
Okay, my advice is completely different if you're dating versus if you're married. If you're dating, I'm gonna be like, okay, leave that joke alone. Go on about your business.
True. And so what I realize about people is that sometimes we're so glad that somebody paid us some attention, and we're so worried that we fear the unknown. Is that we don't know when another piece of pant gonna come along.
That's okay.
That's true. So realistically, so he cheated. Now what?
If you're in a covenant,
No, just. So now we're okay. So now let's move from from casually dating to okay. Now we're in a committed relationship. Okay, so let's even move it. We're in covenant. How about that? Oh,
okay. So if you're in covenant, I'm gonna ask, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay? Do you want to go? If you tell me you want to stay, you gonna have to buckle up for the ride, because this is going to be a journey for you. It's not as simple as, okay, I forgive him or I forgive her, because I'm not going to, it's some women out there cheating too. And it is some men who stay, although it's not many, but some men do stay. You are going to have to forgive over and over and over and over, because once you find out, it's going to come back to your mind.
Wow. I remember in my years of singleness, I had this book that kept stalking me, and God had given it to me, and I hated it. I still hate it. It's at the publisher not being published. I hated it. It was a forecast of my divorce before I'd even got married. During my single years, it was a curse. It was a curse. It was a curse. But the book was called Forgiving and Forgetting a Broken Covenant. And I realized in that book, he cheated, now what? And so it's so much accountability we take for them cheating. We take it so personally sometimes, and understanding that it breaks us down. Like, I have seen women who that has sucked all the life out of them, their infidelity.
Well, first of all, that betrayal is a sucker punch.
Oh.
Number one.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to deal with that part.
Wow.
The part that this person who you put your trust in,
that was supposed to
you
protect
gave
me,
all your love to, they getting all your cookies,
betrayed me,
lied,
betrayed me,
did stuff they
oh,
and somebody else.
Oh,
what?
Okay, so, oh.
And all the things that you do to me, did you do all that? No, That's not no easy pill to swallow.
Now, see, that's the stuff. That's the stuff. Casting down imaginations that never had. Oh, good God. Oh. And so, but realistically, now, not realistically, he cheated. Now what? You know, listen. We want to feed them to the dogs. We want to do all these things. We want to fight. We want to war. We want to, we want to punish them. We want to go out and do something.
We want revenge.
We want revenge, tit for tat. We want to get even. But okay, so he cheated. Now what? What's wrong with him in the first place?
Right.
He cheated. Now what? Okay, first of all, now let's just talk about it. He cheated when I'm giving it up on the regular.
Mm-hmm.
He cheated when
I'm cooking, cleaning.
I'm cooking, cleaning.
Being submissive.
Everything.
Everything. I'm your best friend, your confidant, all of that.
Your best friend, your confidant, yo.
Out here in these streets.
Uh-huh.
Doing what?
Uh-huh. All right. And so, what happens when him cheating was never about us?
First of all, are you mature enough to even get to that point?
So that's why we having these podcasts.
Okay.
That's why we having these topics, because now we're giving out other perspectives, because sometimes the woman is so broken when she has done everything in her power to change herself, because she has taken the full responsibility of the relationship upon her when it was never even about her. When his infidelity issues dated back to his insecurity, dated back to his character, dated back to his immaturity, dated back to his iniquity, dated back to his childhood trauma, And so his ego, how about that?
His ego.
How about that?
His ego.
How about that? How about that? And so him fooling around never had nothing to do with, if he loved me, why would he do it? That's our answer. Why? If he loved me,
yes,
why would he do it?
How could you?
How could you?
Yes.
If he loved me.
And he could love you and have all of those things, past trauma, ego, low self-esteem.
All of that breed ground
all
for a
of
sin
that.
issue.
Yes.
So dude got a sin issue. Because it was God that said don't do that. Dude got a sin issue now. Now he got to take it up with God. So now what he did to you, he didn't just do to you, he did to God too.
He did it to God. And if he don't love himself,
Yeah.
and he don't have enough for you.
Yeah. And that is, and so now we're not just talking about marriage. And so he cheated. Now what? No, he didn't just cheat on you. You're not the only one in that relationship. Trust me when I tell you, you got a God that's going to go to bat for you when you do your part. Because regardless of what oh God, listen, don't turn the podcast off right now. Please. I know.
Stay with you.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yeah, this gonna hurt. God ain't looking at him when he looking at you. God ain't gonna ask you when you go and knock his head off and have killed this Negro, well, he deserved it. No, he gonna say, what did you do? He gonna hold you accountable. But when you catch a case...
Right. Don't catch no case. Don't go out there and catch no case. No.
And so...
Try to hit him with a phone book.
I'm
sorry.
But no, seriously.
Seriously.
You are still accountable unto God for how you respond.
Yeah.
So how will you respond? How will you respond in the worst offense? Oh, God.
You have to respond in love.
How you respond in love when dude just cheated? How do you get to that place?
Is he repentant?
How do you get to that place when you that mature? How do you get to that place when the thing that you feared the most had come upon you? How do you get to that place?
Okay, there are some people who have sin issues and they're going to keep doing it. Are you going to say?
So, my answer to that is hear God. Because some women are able to function in that environment. Some women feel like a man is going to be a man and they conditioned to overlook that. No, I'm so serious.
No, you're right.
You know,
right.
we
There
come
are
from different
people who
places where some
that.
women, I hear that ridiculousness and I'm like, that's all you want from a man? You know, a little piece of you good, okay. But, hold on. But see, that has everything to do with how we're nurtured, how we're brought up, right?
Some people think that that is acceptable behavior.
Because, you know, I remember my grandmother saying, don't go looking. You know,
My wedding counselor told me that.
yeah, don't go looking. You know, so you have people, we've been taught for generations not to go looking. And so some women have gotten to the place where they accept that from their man in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the standard that they're okay with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my grandmother used to say, if the man don't lie, don't cheat, but don't beat you and not a drunk, you can't control what he does to somebody else. You can only control what he does to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't buy it. I don't think my mother did either. But,
Granny, though, if he cheating, he lied. He's a liar, Granny.
But you have women who are,
And he might not physically be beating you in your head, but that is a violation of my body, sir.
but he didn't do it to you, right? That's their perspective on it, right?
That's okay.
He didn't do it to you. You can't control what doesn't happen to you. You can only control.
While it is true that you cannot control what other people do, because no amount of threatening or bopping somebody in the head is going to make them not cheat if that's what they want to do.
I think it's time for some real conversation. Like, if I'm married and that would happen, no, we need to talk.
Yes.
We need to talk about the things that apparently we've never discussed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, apparently we need to talk about, because I'm big on communication. I'm big on, you know, what needs to change. I'm big on having those no. So we need to talk about what we haven't discussed. So I've already asked you, are you happy? I've already asked you, can I do something different? I'm already, you know, assessing the situation on a regular basis, making sure that everything is okay. How are we? Was there something you want to address, talk about? I'm already giving you room for that. And so I need to know what's going on.
What's going on?
I need to know what's going on. You know? Yeah, I need to know what's going on. But one of the things that I work on is because men's ego, they like that ego stroke, you know? And so I work diligently at ego stroking, baby.
Yes, she does.
Listen, on any given day, I am the girlfriend.
Okay.
You know, but I want to be the one to say what he needs to hear. I want to be the one to, so I need to know why you laying your head in somebody else's lap when I'm always here rubbing your head and giving and working at giving you a safe place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I need to know what it is. Let's talk about it. And I think that's what happens. We need to talk. We need to communicate. And we find.
So what I'm hearing you saying is, if you were in that situation, you would not necessarily leave. You want to talk about it and find out what's going on with him.
I think it's something that needs to be talked about first.
Okay.
Because one thing I think about marriage is we're on assignment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just not my husband. You my assignment. I'm not just your wife. I'm your assignment. So now if you done jacked up on the assignment, I need us to get back on the same page. And so we need to come to a resolve. So we need to talk about some stuff. Because I'm still responsible here.
Right.
And I'm still accountable to God until God say, nah. This one just ain't gonna act right now. Now I'm gonna tell you, I don't care what y'all say, God will tap you out. God hate divorce, but he hates you being abused too. That's like a daddy watching somebody beat his child, hurt his child, traumatize his child, and saying, oh, but baby, because you got their last name, I'm gonna need you to just stay. God is a good father. And so we really, we gotta hear God. Like, we gotta hear God. Like, God, what do I do? How do I help them?
So you're gonna talk to him and you're gonna take it to the Lord in prayer.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because now I need to hear beyond what he's saying. I need to see beyond what I see. I need some wise counsel that maybe the counselor surrounding me can hear. I need to hear from heaven.
Mm-hmm.
Is this thing dead, funky, and sinking? If I speak to it, can it live?
Okay.
Or it's just a sin issue we about to move on past? So I need to know.
I'm with you.
I'm with you. I need to
I'm
know.
with you.
I need to know. I need to know. You know? I need to know. I remember going to marriage counseling with my ex-husband. And I remember my spiritual dad, I remember the questions he asked my ex-husband. He asked him like 10 things. He was like, does she do this, and this? He said, oh, she does all of that. He said, but he gave one smart response, and he said, but I'm not physically attracted to her. Now, this after God done told me to leave. So you gonna tell somebody in counseling that you not physically, and my dad say, is this an excuse to do what you want to do? And so when we got home, I checked his phone. And when I checked his phone, he told whoever he was talking to that he was still in the course that he was going to leave. And so what I realized at that point was I had already been given the way out. God had already told me to leave. The thing was already dead. I shouldn't have been there in the first place. He cheated. Now what? No. He didn't cheat. The covenant had ended and I was still there.
Okay.
I was in a place that God no longer was because I was scared to go. You know? And so, yeah. Like, sometimes we're in places, I hate to say this, but man, we're in places that God no longer is. And it was dead long before, and we waiting on God to resuscitate something he done moved out of because he's seen what we've suffered. He's seen that that's happened behind our back. So he cheated. Now what? This wasn't the first offense in some cases. In some cases, we've been through, it's been ongoing offenses, right?
Probably so.
And in some places, it's been ongoing offenses. So he cheated. Now what?
I think that if once you get to the point where the relationship is dead, like, could life have been breathed into it earlier on?
So,
or are you saying that in that marriage, the sin issue and the character issue was not in alignment.
It was never in alignment.
It was never in alignment. Okay.
It was never in alignment. It was dead from the beginning.
Okay.
It was dead from the beginning. And that's a hard place to be. That's a hard place to identify that I'm in something that's on a clock. That the clock is ticking on because I put myself in a place that's only going to be allowed for me for a season.
Okay.
You know?
And you knew that earlier on.
And,
or in the middle of it,
and
your eyes were open. And you said the clock is ticking and the time is running out.
The clock was ticking.
All right.
It was running out. It was running out. And so he cheated. Now what? It's interesting how sometimes we do have those healthy things and it goes left. It's interesting how we take it so personal when there's so many other layers and so many barriers in between that. So we have this wonderful relationship and we have this great connection, and all of a sudden, and I think we discussed it before in one of our other episodes and talking about marriage and intimacy and sex. And so now we've gotten to a place where there's a breakdown in the communication, there's a breakdown in the intimacy, and I heard this from somebody that said it to me, and I held on to it. We just got too comfortable. So he cheated. Now what? And so I talked about earlier how we hold ourselves so accountable as women as to what happens when that happens, how it feels so personal. But what happens when it is personal? What happens when we actually drop the ball? What happens when we can look back and say, man, I opened the door to that? I mean, do you even think that's possible?
Can you pump life into it or no? Can you resuscitate it?
I don't know. Stay tuned for part 2.
Part 2!
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Jen and Mel. Please join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for new episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Rick.tv, and the Rick TV app by way of Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us again next time on Conversations with Jen and Mel.